Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody feeling today? All right. It's an exciting day. So for those who don't know me, my name's Dr. Ken Sable. I'm the Regional President for the Southern Market of Hackensack Meridian Health. And it is my absolute pleasure and honor to be here for the Resident and Fellow Graduation 2022. That's worth an applause, right? So I think this is my 8th, if I count correctly, from 2015, my 8th Resident and Fellow graduation. And I have to say, it gets better and bigger every single year. And I'm still amazed at how, while I continue to get older, you all stay the same age. Seems to be every year. You know, this is an interesting day, and every time I'm up here and I'm giving this speech, it makes me think about my own residency graduation. And I think about 20 years ago this month, maybe even 20 years ago today, I sat at Cooper University Hospital, and I graduated from the emergency medicine residency program. Little did I know that I would go on to be an emergency physician for 10 years and then ultimately cross over to the dark side of hospital administration, which I don't recommend, by the way. But it really resonates with me, not only how time flies, but you know, how important my residency education was. And ultimately, you know, my roots of medical school and residency graduation have never, ever left me. And I think about my chairman at the time, Dr. Michael Chansky, and he used to say to us, don't try to save the whole world, save one patient at a time. And it really resonated with me for a lot of reasons. Throughout my career in emergency medicine, where I practiced at Maimonides Medical Center for over a decade, especially in emergency medicine, where you have 30 seconds to build rapport, and somebody who comes in, who usually in emergency medicine, you don't wake up and say, I think I want to go to the ER today, right? But they show up and they're vulnerable and they're susceptible and they're scared and they don't know me or any of our ER team. And we have to build rapport and gain their trust in a matter of seconds. And that's an amazingly powerful skill to be able to do that. And each one of you is going to be doing that in your own right, in your own fields of interest. And so what I would say to you is, never forget the power that you have to connect with patients. I know that you've been doing that, you know, throughout your 1-year fellowship, 3-year residency, 5-year, et cetera. But when you're out on your own, and I can still remember my first shift, and I went into the bathroom and I was sweating, scared out of my mind. You remember Maimonides, right? Remember that ER? It was crazy. But just never forget where you came from, never forget what your purpose is, and always maintain empathy and understand that people are scared. They've probably just gone through Dr. Google, read about all the crazy things that could possibly happen to them, and they're coming to you for help. Now, you may not be able to solve everything, but you can listen, you can be present, you can be selfless, and you can have empathy and sympathy. And I think those skills should never, ever leave you as you leave to go out into the real world and practice. How many people are going into fellowship here? Wow, it's a lot. Of the people not going into fellowship, who's starting their jobs July 1st? Not that many. I recommend you don't start July 1st, because I did, and when I look back now, boy, you have a lot of years to work. You know, take the time. Take the time to smell the roses. Take the time to enjoy. Think about all that's ahead of you and enjoy family time. You're going to work for many, many years. And, you know, I wanted a paycheck right away and I got started. But in retrospect, I probably should have taken some time and traveled or did something else in the interim. Lastly, I just want to recognize this class specifically. You know, many of you have probably spent either half or your entire training program here during the worst pandemic in 100 years. And I want to commend you all for that. I want to thank you all for that. You know, you were in harm's way. You were the front line to this terrible pandemic. You were all heroes. You were selfless, dedicated, and focused on taking care of the communities that you serve, taking care of each other, taking care of families and friends, all while having your own fears about your own safety and your own families and friends. And I want to just give you all a round of applause for your selflessness and for being the heroes that you are. So just to end here, I just want to say good luck to you. Never, ever forget where you came from. Never, ever forget Jersey Shore University Medical Center and the wonderful education I hope you received here. And particularly remember that when you get a call from us later as alumni asking for a donation when you're making the big bucks. And that will come, I promise you. So it's now my distinct pleasure to introduce somebody you all know very well, I'm sure. Dr. David Kuntz, our Co-Chief Academic Officer for Hackensack Meridian Health and Vice President of Academic Affairs at Jersey Shore University Medical Center, a wonderful colleague, a wonderful friend, and a wonderful leader. Dr. Kuntz.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sable. Thank you for honoring us by joining us today. What a pleasure to be in front of all of you and to your families and friends and others on our live stream. I first want to sincerely thank the leadership and acknowledge the leadership at Jersey Shore University Medical Center and Hackensack Meridian Health. Dr. Sable, Mr. Buccellato, Dr. Carpenter, Dr. Angelo, the rest of the administration, and also our department chairs, our residency and fellowship directors, our coordinators, and their staffs. We could not have a more dedicated group of leaders. And with Dr. Sable, I can assure you not a week goes by that we don't talk about the residency and fellowship programs and his questions to me, what are we doing to make them better? I also want to acknowledge Jennifer Coppola, our Associate DIO for Hackensack Meridian Health, and Denise Spina, our Institutional GME Manager, and her staff for not only putting this program together, but for all of her efforts for the entire year. I'm actually going to, Dr. Sable mentioned a year of his graduation, 2002. I'm actually going to talk about 2003 for a second. Think for a second where you were in 2003. That's the year that Jersey Shore signed an affiliation agreement with what was then the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey, or UMDNJ, that allowed it to be renamed Jersey Shore University Medical Center. Jersey Shore was an affiliate of Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, where I was working at the time, and it was clear to us that this hospital had a genuine interest in expanding academics. Several of us accompanied our dean at the time to the Ocean Place Resort that spring to sign a new agreement that included the renaming of the hospital. I came away with a respect for the commitment that I saw from the leadership at the time. Something was really happening here. And they committed to strategic planning around academics, expanded commitment to research, and taking more medical students. It was my first introduction to what was possible. In 2003, there were 4 core residency programs at this hospital: internal medicine, OBGYN, pediatrics, and dentistry, and 2 fellowships, pediatric sports medicine and geriatrics. There were about 60 residents and 4 fellows employed at the hospital. That's it. In 2003, Jersey Shore celebrated the graduation of about 30 of those trainees. Now, almost 20 years later, we are graduating more residents and fellows than in all of those programs combined. More importantly, think about the scope of services and programs, both in the hospital and at the Family Health Center, that we are providing to our community. Patients routinely drove to New York and Philadelphia and New Brunswick for subspecialty care. No more. You are part of a legacy that has helped solidify our reputation as a top 10 hospital in New Jersey, a major teaching hospital of 2 medical schools, and so much more. This rite of passage, as Dr. Sable mentioned, is especially significant as you have faced challenges unparalleled in house staff training. In addition to the pandemic, we have lived through a period of unprecedented societal upheaval and conflicts, few before you have had to negotiate. You have inspired us. When I was sitting where you are today, I thought that residency was as challenging as it could be. I had no idea how easy I had it. You have proven you have what it takes to overcome obstacles and succeed. The conflicts I reference have spilled over into our profession of medicine. Distrust of science and medical expertise has reached a dangerous level, often with deadly consequences. This will prove to be among the greatest challenge you face as you advance in your careers. We need to understand and overcome bias against science so that our patients can receive the best health care possible. I experienced this speaking to hundreds of people at many Zoom calls during the worst days of the pandemic, desperately trying to convince people to get vaccinated. A version of this problem is true in all of your fields. You cannot sit on the sidelines, but must be proactive in supporting your patients and obtaining the best information possible to make decisions about their care and the care of their families. I'm reminded of a brief story. When polio ravaged the US in the first half of the 20th century, and prior to the discovery of a vaccine, permanent paralysis was a very real possibility. Born in Tennessee in 1940, Wilma Rudolph contracted polio when she was 5 years old. She recovered, but her prognosis was not good. She was not expected to ever walk normally again. Wilma's parents were unhappy with the care available to African Americans in their community, and as a result took her on weekly bus trips, 50 miles each way, to one of the few clinics that would treat her in Nashville at Meharry Medical College. She regained the use of her leg by the age of 12. If Wilma Rudolph's name sounds familiar, it is because at the Rome Olympics of 1960, she won 3 gold medals. She broke several world records and earned the title fastest woman in the world. There are 2 lessons we can learn from the story of Wilma Rudolph. First, no matter how difficult something appears, those who persevere and seek innovative solutions will prevail. This applies to patients and their providers. Second, excellent medical care must be available to all, no matter their race, the patient's race, ethnicity, or income. We need you to break down barriers that remain, as well as give back to others. Despite all the challenges and hardships, you are the fortunate ones. In the words of Winston Churchill, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Again, on behalf of the leadership team, congratulations to each and every one of you. Wherever you go, whatever you do, we will forever be tied together. We will be keeping our eyes on you, enjoying your success. You will want to know that Jersey Shore continues to progress and will share with patients, colleagues, families, and students that all or part of your training took place here. We cannot wait to see all the amazing things that you are going to do. Thank you. Now we're going to see a brief video with a welcome from Mr. Buccellato, Dr. Angelo, and Dr. Carpenter.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to be amongst the first to say congratulations on your graduation. It was just a few short years ago when you entered into the doors of Jersey Shore University Medical Center. And now today is the culmination of all that you've achieved over the past few years. Thank you for all that you've done for our patients and for each other. Thank you for being a part of this amazing care team providing quality and compassionate care. As you embark upon your future endeavors, please always remember all that you've accomplished over the past couple of years. Whichever road that you may choose, best of luck, congratulations, be well, be safe.
This is a special time for you as you venture out and fulfill that calling that you have regarding being a physician and serving your patients. And there will be no greater calling that you could possibly have at this time. It's an honor to be practicing medicine and one that you will have an impact in your patients' lives and you will make a difference for them and their families. Practicing medicine can be challenging at times, and what I would ask you to do is to think back about this day and remember during those times, the desire you have to serve others, and the passion you have for caring. And let those be your North Star as you go about your careers in medicine from today. Thank you so much for your commitment to our patients and our community. We have heard about your great care that you've delivered on safety huddles. Hopefully you even received a Wambi while you've been here. And again, congratulations and thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the entire nursing team at Jersey Shore University Medical Center, I want to congratulate you on this wonderful accomplishment. Physicians and nurses have very special relationships. They serve our community, they highlight and improve patient care and outcomes. I want to congratulate you and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I know you will accomplish great things. Congratulations to you and to your family and friends.
How about a round of applause for that video? Terrific, thank you. So now we're at the point that you're all waiting for, to be recognized for your accomplishments in your graduation. I'm going to introduce either the program director or the department chair, who will introduce who is with him from his or her team, and we'll start awarding the diplomas and taking some pictures. Our first program is our pharmacy residency program. Michelle Cahoot, program director, I'm going to welcome to the podium.
Congratulations to all of the graduates here today. I'm sure you will do wonderful things in the next chapter of your lives. It is now my honor to present the diplomas to our pharmacy residents. First, Nicole Donadio. Nicole will be doing a PGY2 in ambulatory care at Yale New Haven Health System. Jadelyn Eggleston. Jade served as our chief resident this year, and I am pleased to announce that Jade will be staying on at Jersey Shore. Jesse Lewandowski. Jesse will be doing a PGY2 in emergency medicine with Rutgers University and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. And our last pharmacy graduate, Jana Patel. Jana will be doing a PGY2 in infectious diseases at SUNY Downstate Health Systems University.
Thank you, Dr. Cahoot. Our next program is our podiatric medicine and surgery residency. Dr. James Sullivan is the program director. Dr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Dr. Kuntz, and congratulations to everybody. We have two residents graduating today. First is Neha Atyam. Neha will be going to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to be doing a fellowship in South Central Pennsylvania Reconstructive Foot and Ankle Fellowship. Our next resident is Kimberly Inoko. Kimberly will be doing in private practice. We'll be joining a private practice in foot and ankle premier specialist in Hoboken, New Jersey. She'll be joining one of our previous graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Congratulations. Our next program is our general dental residency. As you heard, this is one of our longest standing residencies here at Jersey Shore University Medical Center. The chair is Dr. Chris Madsen. Dr. Madsen.
Thank you, David. I would like to introduce the Department of Dentistry Program Director, Dr. Sergio Placa, and our coordinator, program coordinator, Eileen Becker.
Thank you, Dr. Madsen. Dr. Coons, Dr. Sable, and Ms. Catronio for welcoming our residents to graduation. Okay, our first graduate is Dr. Vincent Capazzi. Dr. Capazzi hails from NYU Dental School. Dr. Capazzi will entering into private practice in Bergen County, New Jersey. He is considering an affiliation with HMH, and we truly hope it will be at Jersey Shore. Congratulations, Dr. Capazzi. Our next graduate is Dr. Anthony Delzato. Dr. Delzato hails from Rutgers School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Delzato will be practicing at 2 private offices in Bergen County, New Jersey, one with Dr. Capazzi. Dr. Delzato is also considering an affiliation with HMH, so we hope he joins Dr. Capazzi at Jersey Shore. I was going to have more fun with this, but I won't. Our next graduate is Dr. Margaret Eason. Dr. Eason hails from Touro Dental School in New York. Dr. Eason will be moving to South Jersey to continue in private practice in the Cherry Hill area, possibly extending out to Delaware. Dr. Eason's fun fact is that she was once a teacup pig for a pet one day. Dr. Madeline Moss. Dr. Moss hails from Touro Dental School. Dr. Moss was honored twice this year with national recognition of 2 research abstracts, one addressing cultural competency when treating special needs patients, and the other addressing the impact of habitual cannabis use on the efficacy of general anesthesia. Dr. Moss will be moving to Richmond, Virginia to be with her fiancé, where she will be continuing in private practice. Dr. Jordan Vivian. Dr. Vivian hails from Temple Dental School. Dr. Vivian will be joining her husband in Norfolk, Virginia, where she is currently interviewing for associate positions in private practice. Fun fact about Dr. Vivian is she loves to scale glaciers, which she did on her honeymoon. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to our dental graduates. Our next program is the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology Residency Program. The chair is Dr. Scott Smilan. Dr. Smilan.
Thank you. Before we start, I just want to congratulate all of the graduates. You have a lot to be proud of, and I want to thank you not just for your hard work, but also for the teamwork that is exemplified by all of you and between departments, which is fantastic. So congratulations. It's my pleasure to introduce our residency director, Dr. Noelle Aikman.
Congrats to all the graduates and to their families. Well done. Today, I'm very happy and excited to present our graduating residents. We have 4 amazing women. Dr. Sarah Goodhart, she'll be joining a private practice, Dennison and Associates, OBGYN and Infertility in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and working out of Doylestown Hospital. Next is Dr. Tessia McKenzie, who will be doing a breast surgical oncology fellowship at the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center in San Francisco, California. Next is Dr. Alicia Palmieri, who'll be doing a female pelvic medicine and reconstruction surgery fellowship at Cooper University in Camden, New Jersey. And last but not least is Dr. Shruti Varma, who'll be doing a minimal invasive gynecology surgery fellowship at Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn, New York.
Thank you, Dr. Smilin and Dr. Aikman. Our next program is the Pediatrics Residency Program. I'd like to introduce the chair, Dr. Harpreet Paul. Dr. Paul.
It is truly such a privilege to be here with all of you. Amazing team of graduating residents and fellows. I'd like to introduce our program director for pediatrics, Dr. Alana Tureen, and also our associate program director, Dr. Kate Beckwith. Amazing, passionate leadership with our pediatrics program, so congratulations.
Thank you, Harpreet. Thank you, David. First, I just want to congratulate all of the graduating residents and fellows. You guys are amazing. But I have a special place for my residents, my children. And just if you could bear with me, I'm going to introduce all of our graduating residents, but then I have 3 that could not be here, so I just want to announce them as well. So first, I have Mike Charles. He is going to be a house physician in the cardiac care unit at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Next, we have Leanne Cornacchia, who is going to be joining a private practice in Wind Gap, Pennsylvania. Next is Alexa Durante, who is going to be doing a pediatric endocrine fellowship at Children's Hospital of Montefiore. Lydia Karp is going to be joining a private practice in Mays Landing, New Jersey. Elizabeth Kogler will be also joining a private pediatric practice in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. Anita Matthew, she is actually going to be joining her mom in private practice up in Bergen County, New Jersey. Taylor Olean is going to be joining us at Jersey Shore in our pediatric program and be our fourth-year chief next year. Jessica Prati is going to be doing private practice in Freehold, New Jersey. And then I'm going to announce our last resident, and then I'd like to come back and announce our 2 fourth-year chiefs. But our last resident that couldn't be here is Sharana Rador, who is going to be doing a neonatal perinatal fellowship in Buffalo, New York. We have her picture. And then our last 2 also couldn't be here today. Mythili Rao was our 4th-year chief, and she's going to be doing a gastroenterology fellowship at DC Children's. And then Sarah Gagliotti is going to be doing a pediatric intensive care fellowship in Mississippi. Thank you all. Congratulations.
Our next program is our Pediatric Hospitalist Fellowship. Dr. Vidya Naganathan, who is stepping in for Dr. Pinto, will announce this year's graduate.
Thank you, Dr. Coons. Congratulations to all our graduates and wishing you success in your future careers. It's my pleasure to introduce and present the diploma to Dr. Vaidehi Patel, our graduating Pediatric Hospital Medicine Fellow. Dr. Patel was here initially as a 4th-year chief and liked us so much that she stayed on to do her 2-year fellowship. She's going to be moving to Maryland to be closer with her family and working as a hospitalist at Sinai Hospital of Baltimore.
Thank you, Dr. Naganathan. Our next program is our General Psychiatry Residency Program. The chair is Dr. Ramon Sulca. Dr. Sulca, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Kuntz, and certainly I'll add my thanks and congratulations to everyone here. I'm going to introduce Dr. Stacy Dumas, who's our our residency training director, and Dana Benjamin, who's our residency training coordinator. And I'll also give a shout out to Danielle Ortolani, who's our fellowship coordinator, who'll be coming up in a moment as well.
Thank you, Dr. Sulca, and congratulations to all of you. I'm going to give a quick shout out to my 2 associate program directors who are not here today, Dr. Kristen Clark and Dr. Syed Termazi. And then I'm going to introduce my 2 amazing graduates. The first is our chief resident, Dr. Melissa Kalt, who will be going on to a geriatric psychiatry fellowship right here at Jersey Shore. And our second graduate is our Associate Chief Resident, Dr. Kalisha Simons, who will also be going on to fellowship at Brown University, a Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Fellowship. Congratulations. And I'm going to pass it back over to Dr. Sulca for the Addiction Medicine Fellowship.
Thank you. So today represents our first graduation for our Addiction Medicine Fellowship. First, we have, Dr. Janeja, please. Dr. Tony Janeja, who's our Associate Program Director. I'll invite him here. And Danny Ortolani, as I said, our Fellowship Coordinator. Thank you, guys. So first, we have Dr. Ajibola Batandi, who's joining us today and will be leaving to go do probably the record for most frequent flyer miles in his next job. He's going to be starting a private addiction medicine clinic in Atlanta, Georgia, and also working as a hospitalist at St. Mary's Hospital in Maine. And then next we have Dr. Ariel Gerard. Dr. Gerard is going to be joining the faculty at Northwell Health and Hofstra School of Medicine and working at a methadone, as a medical director of a methadone maintenance program in Staten Island. Congratulations. And next, I'd like to welcome Dr. Lauren Kashkawis, who's our fellowship training director for the Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Fellowship.
Thanks, guys. There's a lot of us in psychiatry. Congratulations to everybody. I was thinking back to where I was in 2003, and I don't want to say because I don't want to upset anybody. So this class is extremely special to me because they are my first class of graduates as a program director. So super excited for all of them. So we have Dr. Aisha Adil, who sadly is not joining us, but who will be an outpatient child and adolescent psychiatrist for Children's Specialized Hospital in Hamilton, New Jersey. Oh, that's right. We have Dr. Anatoly Kuznetsov next. He gets to stay with us for another year to complete his general psychiatry residency at Ocean University Medical Center, and then we're going to try to keep him on as child psychiatry faculty at Jersey Shore. And last but not least, we have Dr. Angelo Sica, who is our first Chief Fellow for the Child Psychiatry Fellowship Program. He will be a consult and liaison psychiatrist, as well as the Psychiatry Clerkship Director at St. Joseph's Hospital in Paterson, New Jersey. Real quick. Forgot to shout out my associate program director who couldn't be here, Dr. Adam Saget, and special thanks again to Danny Ortolani, as well as Dr. Solka and Dr. Dumas for their leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Solka. Thank you, training directors, residents, and fellows. Our next program is our Department of Surgery residency program. We're celebrating our first graduates in this core residency. So especially honored and proud to welcome Dr. Tom Bauer, Chair of Surgery. Dr. Bauer.
I first want to congratulate all the graduating residents and fellows, and I especially want to thank Dr. Kuntz, Dr. Sable, and the entire administration who supported our quest many years ago to start our own surgery program. So thank you for helping us and for all that is to come. I welcome Dr. Glenn Parker, who is our program director, Judy Willoughby, who's our coordinator that keeps all of our residents moving, and unfortunately our associate program director, Tori Staub, couldn't be with us today, but I know that she's here and in all of our hearts. Dr. Parker, the last point I want to make is, that we had started the program, and it's hard to get a program started it's also rare to expand a program without having any people graduate. And so the fact that Glenn and Judy were able to grow our program by 50% before we ever graduated a fellow, I think is a special round of applause to both of them and their dedication.
Thank you, Dr. Bauer. Thank you, Sable, Kuntz. And as everyone has said, we are so proud of your accomplishments with graduation from your residency programs. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Robin Ginto. Please come up. Dr. Ginto will be going on from her surgical residency to do a vascular fellowship at the University of Vermont. Dr. Stuart Campbell, please come up. Dr. Campbell will be going on to do a cardiothoracic fellowship at the University of West Virginia.
Thank you, Dr. Parker and Dr. Bauer. Our next program, as you can see the big line starting, is our Department of Medicine residency program and fellowship programs. The chair is Dr. Arif Asif. Dr. Asif, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Kuntz. First of all, I want to congratulate all of the residents and the fellows who are graduating today. Great job. Importantly, I want to echo Dr. Sable's comments about the pandemic. I know I was working with you. I know Dr. Costanzo was working with you in making so many changes. Thank you so much for what you did for our patients. Thank you so much for your commitment, and thank you so much for advancement of COVID-related issues that you all helped with. I'm going to say one more thing, which is, make some noise, you guys. This is your graduation. I know the top leadership is here. I got them covered, don't worry. So I'm going to first of all introduce our program director, Dr. Arman Mushtaq, who's done a fantastic job, and our program coordinator, Michelle Anjum, and Noelia. You got to come down here. Noelia Mendoza is our assistant program coordinator, and I know Jessica Minchu, I want to mention her name. She couldn't be here. She has done a fabulous job for our department. So Dr. Mushtaq.
Thank you, Dr. Asif. Thank you, Dr. Kuntz. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to all the residents and fellows for their graduation. I will start by announcing our graduates. Our first resident who is graduating is Yusuf Al-Busain. Yusuf could not make it. He is going to St. Louis University in Missouri as a hospitalist. Next is Safa Al-Bustani. Safa is staying at Jersey Shore University Medical Center as a hospitalist. Next is Dr. Abbas Al-Shami. Dr. Shami is staying with us to complete his cardiology fellowship at Jersey Shore University Medical Center. Next is Dr. Muhammad Al-Azawi. Dr. Al-Azawi is going to University of Toledo, Ohio, to complete pulmonary and critical care fellowship. By the way, he's our beloved Mo. Next is Dr. Asil Al-Bayati. Dr. Al-Bayati is going to University of California, San Francisco for his cardiology fellowship. Next, we have Dr. Remy Ashkar. Dr. Ashkar is staying with us at Jersey Shore University Medical Center for pulmonary fellowship. Remy is so good in procedures that we were about to announce a Dr. Ashkar Award for procedures at one time. Next is Dr. Nassam Al-Faraji. Dr. Al-Faraji is going to Loma Linda Medical Center in California for her rheumatology fellowship. Okay. Next is Dr. Umal Al-Turk. Dr. Al-Turk is staying with us at Jersey Shore University Medical Center as a hospitalist. Next is Dr. Rabia Chaudhry. Dr. Chaudhry is also staying with us at Jersey Shore University Medical Center as a hospitalist. Next is Dr. Stephen Dowdy. Dr. Dowdy is going to Deborah Heart and Lung Institution for cardiology fellowship. Next is Dr. Shruti Kapadia. Dr. Kapadia is going to primary care at Summit Health. Dr. Kapadia was one of our exceptional chief residents also. Next we have Christopher Lesniak. Dr. Lesniak is staying with us at Jersey Shore University Medical Center for endocrine fellowship. Okay, next is Dr. Tiffany Puerwal. Dr. Puerwal is going to Robert Wood Johnson for endocrine fellowship. Dr. Lesniak and Dr. Tiffany Pruitt was also our chief residents. Next is Dr. Elizabeth Mason. Dr. Mason is also going for primary care in Riverside. So we have many, so we have coffee or something. So next is Dr. Brian Young. Dr. Brian Young could not join us today. Dr. Young is going for primary care at Jersey Shore Associates. Next we have Dr. Hani Nasser. Dr. Nasser is also staying with us at Jersey Shore University Medical Center as a hospitalist. Okay, next we have Dr. Amanda Kramer. Dr. Kramer is going to Jersey Shore. Sorry, we love to have you stay here. So. Dr. Kramer is going to Robert Wood Johnson, Beth Israel. Newark Beth Israel, right? Newark Beth Israel for cardiology fellowship. I so wanted her to stay here for cardiology. Now we will move on to our preliminary residents. We have Dr. Zaka Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed is going for neurology program in Brown University. Next, we have Dr. Antonis Kostias. Dr. Kostias is going to PM&R at Mary Free Bed Rehab Hospital in Michigan. Next, we have Dr. Nusha Fareen. Dr. Fareen is going to join second year internal medicine in Ocean Medical Center. Next is Dr. Gladys Hernandez. Dr. Hernandez is going to Albany Medical Center to complete the neurology program. Next, we have Liz Joseph. Liz could not make it. Liz is going to Connecticut Institute, Danbury, Connecticut. She's continuing her internal medicine program. Next, we have Dr. Daniel Mahon. Dr. Mahon is going to Robert Wood Johnson for neurology. Next, we have Dr. Greg Minazian. Dr. Minazian is going for radiology in Stony Brookdale University. Next, we have Dr. Lakshmi Nara. Dr. Nara is going for radiation oncology program in Robert Wood Johnson. Next, we have Dr. Jennifer Nassim. Dr. Nassim is also going for radiology at Robert Wood Johnson. Next, we have Dr. Sarah Noman. Dr. Noman is going to child and adolescent psychiatry at Brookdale Hospital in New York. Next, we have Dr. Catherine Turro. Dr. Turro is going for neurology at Long Island Jewish Hospital in New York. Okay. Last one. We have Dr. Alexander Zhang. Dr. Zhang is going for anesthesia at Robert Wood Johnson. And Zhang loved his dancing last night at the party. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, and congratulations again.
That's what happens with expansion. You've been supporting it, and it's a long line now. Yeah.
Dr. Seif, we'd like to introduce the fellowship directors.
Thank you, sir. And you did it, and that's why it's a long line. So my pleasure to introduce our Cardiology Fellowship Program Director, Dr. Al Mandral, and also our Fellowship Program Coordinator, Jackie Monero.
Thank you, Dr. Asif. Before I introduce our graduating fellows for this year, I'd like to extend a warm congratulations and best wishes to all our graduating residents and fellows. Best wishes in whatever pursuits you may find yourself in the future. And now, I am proud to introduce our two graduating fellows for this year. First is Dr. Jack Kurtz. Dr. Kurtz will be doing another year of fellowship training in advanced heart failure and transplant at Montefiore Medical Center in New York City. Congratulations. And next, I'm proud to introduce Dr. Priyanka Bachu. Dr. Bachu is our Chief Fellow for this year, and she will be staying in South Jersey and will be joining the Virtual Medical Group. Congratulations.
And now my pleasure and honor to introduce someone who really went above and beyond, particularly during COVID, and our Fellowship Program Director for Pulmonary and Fellowship Program Director for Critical Care Medicine, Dr. Eric Costanzo.
Thank you. When I look out into the audience, I think of two profound thoughts, and one is how proud I am of each and every one of you and how special a day it is. And also the second thought is how humbled I am and honored to be part of the team here, to see the growth from when I graduated from the courtyard with, I think, 12 colleagues to what's before me now. It's such a testament to the strength and the collaboration and the drive of the leadership here, and I'm honored to be part of that. I have two wonderful fellows, both who pushed me academically and really raised the bar of academia in the ICU. I'm very proud to have been associated with both of them, to train them, and to be considered a mentor to both of them. First is Jennifer Robin Connolly, who will be progressing in her career as a nephrology critical care academic attending at St. Peter's University Hospital. And the second critical care fellow, the fellow of the year, who worked tirelessly in the ICU and was always available to the residents and to all of her faculty and worked extremely well, is Hila Azule, who will be an associate professor at the University of California, San Francisco in Fresno. They are lucky to get her. She's a go-getter. All right, my pleasure and honor to introduce someone that is not only an endocrinologist and an academic and a researcher, but also an amazing leader. I will tell you, and I don't feel anything in this, to say that I have learned many things from this leader, Jennifer Chang, our program director for endocrinology and also our chief of endocrine division. Jennifer.
I want to say, first of all, congratulations to all the graduating residents and fellows to the program. We really appreciate all the support that you've provided, the education that you've had here, and I want to say thank you to the support from the administration that made the residencies and the fellowship process. So we really appreciate Dr. Sable, Dr. Coons, Dr. Asif. We really appreciate the time that you spend and to help support our programs. And without further ado, we are excited to introduce our two endocrinology fellowships that are graduating. This is our second class for endocrinology fellowship, so we appreciate and we're excited about the support. First, a graduate is Dr. Catherine Hu. She will be graduating and joining us over at Jersey Shore as an academic endocrinology, so she's joining our group and we'll be welcoming her as a partner. Our next graduate is Dr. Kin Momo Zin. She's going to be graduating and joining Southern California Fontana. She'll be joining a private practice group, and she is our chief fellow for this year, so we want to say congratulations and best of luck to the future. We're very excited for her.
All right, again, my pleasure and honor to introduce someone who really dreams about electrolyte and acid-base disorders, something that I hold near and dear to my heart. Dr. Avis Masood, our program director for Nephrology and Critical Care Fellowship. I want to mention something here that this program, Jersey Shore, was able to create a combination of critical care and nephrology fellowships in one place, and that's why this has become one of the top programs in the country for that specialty. Dr. Masood.
Thank you. Before I introduce our fellow, I'd really like to thank you, Dr. Asif, for all your support, because I'm glad that you happen to be a nephrologist, so make my job easier. And especially thank to Jackie. I know it's because of you, it's very easy to run the fellowship program. Otherwise, it was not my job to do that. I couldn't do it. Anyway, I'm glad to introduce our fellow, Dr. Sugandhi Nanapega. Dr. Nanapega, she is not going anywhere. She is staying here for her critical care fellowship. Dr. Nanapega.
All right, the last part of our program, Dr. Costanzo again. Remember, the critical care and pulmonary program, we decided strategically to keep them as two separate fellowships. We combined nephrology to critical care and had nephrology and critical care as separate programs too. And here's the program again under Dr. Costanzo's leadership.
Well, since we get to go last, I'd like to say a special thanks to Dr. Asif and Jackie for holding me together during times of stress and helping me guide both programs to a position of excellence. I'd also like to say one last thing to all of the residents across the subspecialties. The collaboration that took place during COVID was something I will remember forever. But I would like to recognize the graduating third-year medical residents. If you could stand up quickly for me, all of the third-year medical residents. I have to say, 6 months into your residency and you're following this madman into the fire and no fear, no hesitation, absolute treasures you all are. I think what you went through, I will never forget, and I will honor you forever to have sacrificed your free time, your family time, and even spend additional time in educational pieces that we could not provide because of volume. I am honored and humbled by your hard work and dedication. And lastly, I have my two pulmonary fellows, both of whom will be sticking around for one additional year of critical care, where the real fun begins. I'd like to introduce Ali Nadim, who will be staying with us. He performed beautifully in his first 2 years. And lastly, Taimur Khan, who will be our Chief Fellow next year and will be joining the Critical Care Fellowship Program. And congratulations on 2 wonderful years.
All right. We're moving on, and thank you for those wonderful shout-outs, Dr. Costanzo. We wanted to take a minute and recognize our coordinators. I'm sure if you're in training, you understand that. If you're not, the role of the coordinator is hard to describe how important it is. And to make that recognition, I'm going to turn the podium over to Denise Spina, our institutional GME manager. Denise?
Thank you. Just wanted to take a moment to, and when I say your name, if you can come down to the podium. We all know how important it is the work that the coordinators do. And we thank you for all that you do every day. And I personally thank you for filling out every spreadsheet I send you, every email I ask you to forward, every deadline I ask you to remind your residents and fellows. There's countless deadlines. And honestly, it's the coordinators that run the program day to day, and without them, they run the ship and they kind of keep everybody together, and I'm sure everyone in the audience could attest to that as well. So thank you. A round of applause to you all. So if you can come down to the podium, please. Eileen Becker. Jeannie Carrington from Podiatry has retired, but we're just going to give her a shout out too. Dana Benjamin, Michelle Jum, Noelia Mendoza, Tracy Drew, she's kind of been filling in internal medicine. Vanessa Schroeder's not here, unfortunately. Judy Willoughby from surgery. Jackie Monero, who I have to point out, oversees 6 fellowship programs, so everything she does is times 6. 6 CCC meetings. I don't know how she does it, but thank you for what you do. Danny Ortolani, and one of our new fellowship coordinators, Michael Elwer. So thank you all.
And before she leaves the front of the auditorium, let's give a shout out to Denise Spina, recognize her leadership for our JME programs. Thank you, Denise. All right, we're up to a very important traditional part of our ceremony, and that's the recitation of the Hippocratic Oath. Every year we ask a esteemed member of our medical staff or one of our training programs to lead the graduates in the Hippocratic Oath. This year we've asked Dr. Lynn Parker, our general surgery program director and president of our medical staff, to lead the graduates. Dr. Parker, welcome.
What a great day, huh? Congratulations to all. So let's please stand so we can recite the Hippocratic Oath together. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred.
I do solemnly swear
that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members. That I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor. That into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my power, holding myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, and from the tempting of others to vice. That I will exercise my art solely for the care of my patients and will give no drug and perform no operation for a criminal purpose, far less suggested. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of my patients, which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret.
These things I do promise, and in proportion as I am faithful to this oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine, and may the opposite befall me if I am false to my word. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. We'll have closing remarks from Reverend Cindy Wilcox, Manager of Pastoral Care. Ms. Wilcox, thank you for joining us today.
I'm going to be honest. I want to congratulate you, and I want to thank you for inviting me because you guys did all the work and I got to come to the party. So thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to think back for a second and remember where you were and who you were with when you had this hopeful vision to take a risk and start in the healthcare journey because you actually wanted to take part in human healing. What a call. Reflect on the abundant information, if you can imagine, what you've learned academically and scientifically and socially and emotionally and spiritually since you started on this journey. And take a bow. Picture all the amazing people who stood around you, your families and your friends, the people sitting next to you, who cheered for you and prayed for you, the instructors, the mentors, and of course, the patients and the families who shared themselves with you, and you learned so much about yourself sitting next to them. And look back in awe at the fiery hoops that you jumped through to get to this day. Let's be honest, going through the schooling and beyond during the worst times of COVID added extra hoops and extra fire. And it has collectively impacted us in a deep and powerful way. And to be honest, it could be a joy stealer, but it won't be. You did it. You did it. Now we have to resuscitate our joy and our hope bigger and bolder than ever before. Einstein was a big believer in taking the time to look back and reflect. Listen to this quote about mindfulness and gratitude and motivation, rooted in his belief that he too could make a difference in other people's lives. If you're a yoga person, it's actually based on, in hindsight, all the yogis are like, look, he's mindful, he's grateful, he's connected. I mean, it's like, oh, wow, did you know Einstein was a yogi? 100 times every day, I remind myself that my inner and my outer life is based on the labors of other men and women, living and dead. And in gratitude, I must exert myself in order to give in the same measure as I have received, and I am still receiving. End of quote. You all have exerted yourself in order to give back, and thank you so much. You've received and you'll continue to receive knowledge and wisdom, and today is not the end of your learning journey, but it is a glorious and well-deserved water station along the journey. And now's the time to go, whoop, whoop, yay! That's a good one. Are you able to access the joy of this day after the past few years? Sometimes in situations where you're meant to be joyful, like graduating as residents and fellows, we're actually too tired, right? Or you're too anxious because you're starting on July 1st, a couple of you. Too anxious about the next leg of the journey, and if you're not starting, when should I start? And where am I supposed to go hang out where the rules align with what I want them to? That we struggle to stop and savor the accomplishments. Can anybody relate? T.S. Eliot states, I had the experience, but missed the meaning. So what does joy look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Does it look like Tigger or Pollyanna or Richard Simmons? Whew. Or Forrest Gump? I'm sure that joy definitely doesn't look like Eeyore or Archie Bunker. Right? Does it smell like lavender? Sorry, I'm the code lavender guy, I had to sneak that in. Or sea foam at the beach, or evergreen trees in the mountains? Does joy taste like filet mignon, or lobster, or pecan pie? Now you know my favorites. After all the years of studying and clinical rotations, after all the years of such hard work and nose to the grindstone, it may actually feel daunting to even imagine trying to drum up energy to feel joyful juices. Not another project. Are you kidding me? Even if it's a joy project, I'm supposed to be working on joy? Really? But I propose, and because I'm a chaplain and I'm completely passionate about this, I care about your spirit deeply, deeply. And I propose that your joy project is critical and life-saving, no matter where you are on your journey. So what is joy? I picture it as, I worked in television a long time ago, so I picture it as a wide-angle lens, a really big one, 360 degrees, better than any fancy security camera. Ready? And it allows for a view of not just the past, but the present and the future. The past with gratitude for provision. You go, eventually, honestly, be honest, things work out. Not necessarily the way you imagine, but they work out somehow. The present with intentional focus on offering your heart and your soul to whatever you're doing right now. With this confidence that the future is full of hope, anticipation that there is going to be meaning and purpose to what you are setting out to do. Can I get a head nod? Woo, yeah. I don't think we have any Baptists in the group here. Like Einstein's reflection, how do you lose your joy? For many of us, it's actually not stopping the train and taking time to reflect, to slow down and remember why we're doing what we're doing. Viktor Frankl calls it meaning making, slowing down long enough to remember where the meaning is in all of this. It's easy to forget the vision that we had early on, to become a doctor in health and care, to change and even save lives. It's easy to forget how much you already invested, how much you learned, how far you've come, and how much you have to offer a suffering world. And I'm telling you, that world is suffering, and it desperately needs health and care. They need you deeply. And it's easy to forget that there are so many people who are here to support you because you're so busy, locked in. And all the people are like, how can I help? How can I help? You are not alone in this journey. Which brings me to the harder question, especially to academics that love their nose down. Ready? Do we actually want joy? Do we want to choose joy? Because it's a strange thing, but this culture sometimes dismisses hopeful, joyful people, yeah, okay, as silly Pollyannas. They're delusional, you know. They obviously are not able to comprehend the tragic realities that we're all fatalistically trapped in. Being cynics and skeptics and doubters is actually popular and in these days. But I'm telling you, I am pushing back on that, and I pray you do too. It is in the hope and the joy and the connection that we're going to access the best version of ourselves and others in all situations. It's in the hope and the joy that allows us space for clarity and trust and wisdom, which we are going to need to work through all these inevitable challenges of being human on planet Earth. Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu wrote a book together that I highly recommend. It's called The Book of Joy. Has anybody read it? It's amazing. It's called Lasting Happiness in a Changing World. The editor comments on Dalai Lama and Tutu's inspiring perspectives. Their joy is not easy or superficial, but one burnished by the fire of adversity, oppression, and struggle. Both authors faced hardship and exile, and yet were able to maintain, you ready for these words? Their compassion and forgiveness because they both believed that joy is their birthright. Did you hear that? Do we actually believe joy is your birthright? Do you actually believe joy is important? As we read in an ancient proverb, a joyful heart, you're going to love this, is good medicine. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bones. As Einstein so beautifully articulates, it is through taking the time for grateful reflection for the people who influence us in the past, present, and future, and then this hopeful belief that we too are making an impact on other people's lives, that we can experience joy today. May we all enroll and active participants in the Joy Project, and please, could you prescribe it to all your patients and your friends and your family? Congratulations, and let the joy and the hope grow wherever you go. Amen. Should I give a benediction? Please receive the benediction. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true and noble and right and pure, excellent, admirable, praiseworthy, think on these things. If you've seen anything or heard anything or learned anything, go and put it into practice. And may the God of peace, shalom, assalamu alaikum, be with you. Amen.
Boy, thank you for that inspiring message. When I go back to the medical school next week, I'm going to tell the dean, I think I found the future graduation speaker. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Leave this with joy. Let's leave with joy. Again, on behalf of the administration, thank you for everything that you've done for us. Godspeed. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, and thank you for everything. Good night.